I'm back on my sofa. It's going to be a little update today because I've got to go out. I'm dressed up ready. Couple of layers. It's cold, wet, damp, always makes you feel a bit ugh. So I've cozied myself up with one of my polar necks, and on top I've got a crocheted top. If you want to see my crocheted top and how I made it, that's in episode 12. I'll put a link on the card at the end of the end card. That's better, the end card. I said I've got a couple of more projects that I need to finish. I'm actually got into it again. I picked up the bag and decided to do a bit on the neck. I've got the sleeve on hold. I think I'm going to be able to manage to do the sleeves from now on. I've got into the process of sleeves. This is the neck. And I'm not doing as the pattern said, but this is one of these shaped hemmed garments. It's a design by Carol Feller, which I quite enjoy. This is my second top. I've done one in purple, again, episode 12. And this one is a mild version again, because the first one was a mild version. This is a mild version in which I used a lot of vintage yarns that I had, reds and blacks, and introduced an apricot from Colourmart, which is a cone, a company that sells yarn cones too. I will put a link to that at the end of in the description below. So I've already done one in the purple, but this one is in this red gold. So yeah, and it's textural like that, and at the hem it's a stocking stitch hem with a garter edging. I have shown this book before. Let me just show it to you again. This is Carol Feller's book, and it's called Short Row Knits. I got it because of the fact it was short row, and it taught you various elements of short row and gave you a few patterns. That's the picture of the garment. I love this one. It's an oversized sweater. I think she calls it Riyito, R-I-Y-I-T-O. It's got shaped shoulder using short rows, and the hem is obviously using short rows. So yeah, I do like that one. She knitted it in Manos del Uruguay silk blend fino, and used 3.75mm or a size 5 circular needle. Now she says that the 3.75mm needle, as I would call a number 9, is a US size 5. So I've learned something today. So she used what I would call a number 9 or a 3.75. Or I suppose in the continent it would be a 3.5mm. Yeah, perhaps. There are a lot of nice other patterns in here. There is another one that I would like to do, and I did start trying to do it, but I didn't like the yarn I had. So that's one I would like to do. It's very Celtic in its origins. Yeah. So, just again, the Short Row Knits by Carol Feller. Yeah, so there's that one. I also was in the middle, when I was knitting on the beach in October last year, of making a denim look jacket. It's this one. No, not so straight. I get a little line across my screen to say, that's not straight, that's not straight, but there you go. And you can see the little flaps. Well, I've done a fair bit on it. Let me put these books down on the floor. I've done a fair bit on it. Now, this is my little Harris Tweed knitting bag that I made myself. I'm going to have to make some Harris Tweed knitting bags, aren't I? That would be a good idea. Let me just put that back in there. Did you like the flower? I had to redo this a little bit because it started to come apart, and I used my hot glue gun to sort it out. It just flaps a bit, but you like the flower? That's made out of fake leather, poly leather that I found a scrap of somewhere, and I made it into a flower with the little strands of some cotton which I just made into these little strips, and I liked the fact that they were a bit threadbare. And then I covered a button in that fabric for the middle. Yeah. So it's this one. So what have I done so far? I have to remind myself too. All right, so I've done the sleeve. I've done one sleeve there. Again, this is in a mild colourway that I designed myself using some Scottish, Shetland like yarns, 4-ply yarns. I actually again used my fluorescent yarn in amongst it. So I've got 4 colours there. I've got this lovely aubergine colour, a robin blue, eggs blue colour, the very fine fluorescence, and that very fine cotton and acrylic yarn, which just gives this little white fleck to it. I love that. So that's the sleeve. I think I've got plenty of this yarn left as well. I'm working on the other side now, the side front. So you can see the panel in the front there. I've already done one side with the pocket flap. So I'm on the second side now for that. And I've also done the back, which has, oh, now I don't know which side is which now. Ah, it's that side, which has the panel in the middle and a little ridged panel there. It's not easy to see in this light and with these particular mild colours, but it looks lovely in real life. So with all the cones of yarn I had, I made these little, I'm going to call them skeins, S-K-E-I-N-S, skeins. That word is, I hear, used in many pronunciations, but I do believe that it is skein. That's how we should pronounce it. So yeah, I shall roll that up. Now, like I said, that came from the, I think I'll just put the other bits away first. That came from the Rowan magazine. And put them all back in. There you go. And that's another Harris Tweed bag that I made. And I lined it with some of my own fabrics that I've designed. This lovely peachy pink one. So put that down there. The Rowan magazine was number 29. Now, what I would say is if you go onto the Rowan website and look on the back copies, I think recently I was looking through one and I do believe there's a similar pattern for that jacket in a more recent magazine, more like a summary one. So have a look. But you can get back copies. Now, I promised a couple of books that I would probably recommend for research purposes. I have had this one for such a long time because they are an encyclopedia of knitting and crochet stitches. I have used some of them, but there are so many. I really need to put my head down and have a look at what ones I can do. Now, for instance, this one has lace patterns in it, and you can see the old shale. But there are a lot of other ones that you could use. I quite like the one at the bottom. Let me just show you. That one there, for instance, with its kind of geometric shapes. So, yeah. It's one you could play around with. There is even a mosaic section, or what they call slip stitch colour patterns. It's one that you can play around with to design yokes or just even edgings, or just a full-on lace or textured garment. The other one, which I really haven't done a lot of reading in, but I got because I thought it would be of help to me, and that is the Circular Knitting Workshop. Essential techniques to master knitting in the round. All knitting levels, converting flat patterns to circular, and then bags, hats, shawls, socks, mittens, gloves and sweaters. So it's a technical book. It's not a pattern book as such. Although they do have a circular yoke sweater for a child, and showing how to make it. So yeah, that one needs some studying when I come to write up my patterns for my circular knitting yokes. So yeah, that's it for today. Have we got there? Are we there yet? Well, we still got a lot of work to do. I'm actually now sewing up one of my projects for a friend. I just played around with a bit of the yarn from yesterday and the Sophie scarf again. But this time, I know that quite often people say that they get they forget where they are when it comes to increases, and I know I did that. So I used to use, one way I used was using one of these little stitch markers every time I did an increase on that row. But this time I decided to yarn over so that I have a hole, and then I can see exactly where I've been. So I thought I'd try that out. What do you think of the colours? I like that together. Anyway, yeah, so where are we up to? We still got loads to do. I've got loads to finish. Whether I'll get them finished before the end of the year is another thing, because I've got a little job now, and that is going to take up some of my time. We'll just see. Anyhow, I've enjoyed giving you an insight into all my techniques and my projects that I've got to finish. I expect we all have those. I'm not a monogamous knitter. I could never be a monogamous knitter. So, Sunday night, all being well, I'm not promising, I will put all day 6 to day 10 onto a start to finish video and publish it Sunday night for you. Next Friday, I'm hoping to just give you a catch up on how far I've got. And on the 29th, all being well, I'll try and give you a video on all the things I've knitted this year. So, thanks for watching. Please like, please comment as much as you like. Please subscribe. If you're already subscribed, please stay with me. I love having you round. And see you in 2024. But keep knitting.